Market value, coins that have sold for $10,000 plus. Let's look at the most jaw-dropping sales. Some 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollars with rare mint errors or in pristine condition have sold for over $10,000 at auction. In fact, certain proof versions, especially the ones with no mint mark or double die errors, have reached prices well into the $15,000 to $20,000 range, making them some of the most valuable coins from the late 20th century. The 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar, historic coin with surprising value. The 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar may seem like a simple piece of American history, but what many don't know is that this coin has amazing hidden value. First minted in 1979, it was part of the U.S. government's attempt to replace paper dollars with a more durable coin. However, this coin faced a mixed reception from the public due to its size and design, and by the time it was phased out, many collectors weren't paying much attention. But today, certain 1979 versions of this coin are making huge waves in the numismatic community, and they are worth far more than anyone ever expected. The history behind the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar. Named after the famous women's rights activist Susan B. Anthony, this coin was designed by Frank Gasparo and struck for the first time in 1979. It was part of an effort to make the U.S. dollar coin more practical and harder to counterfeit. However, the public wasn't thrilled with the coin's resemblance to the quarter, and its production ceased after just a few years. Despite this, some of these coins, especially those minted in San Francisco's Mint, have become highly coveted by collectors. What makes the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar so valuable? Now, here's the exciting part. While many 1979 coins may only be worth their face value of $1, there are certain rare mint errors and varieties that can send the price into the thousands, or even tens of thousands, of dollars. Here's why. The 1979 wide rim dollar, one of the most famous errors in the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar series is the wide rim variety. The coin has a distinct larger gap between the rim and the lettering on the reverse side, compared to other 1979 coins. These wide rim coins are particularly rare and can sell for anywhere from $300 to over $1,000 depending on their condition. 1979 proof coins. In addition to regular circulating coins, the U.S. Mint also produced proof coins for collectors. These coins were made with a special, high-quality finish, and while most of the 1979 proof coins are relatively common, perfectly graded examples can fetch up to $2,000 or more. If the proof coin is in perfect condition, PR 70, its value could soar into the thousands. The rare 1979 mint mark variety. Here's where things get truly exciting. A tiny number of 1979 coins were struck without the mint mark on the reverse. This error occurred when the mint used the wrong die, and it's one of the rarest and most coveted varieties of the 1979 coin. This particular error has sold for anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 or even more, depending on its grade. High-grade 1979 coins. Like any rare coin, condition is everything. A high-grade 1979 coin, graded MS 67 or higher, can be worth a substantial amount of money. For example, a perfectly minted 1979 coin in uncirculated condition can go for several $100s or more. Market value, coins that have sold for $10,000 plus. Let's look at the most jaw-dropping sales. Some 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollars with rare mint errors or in pristine condition have sold for over $10,000 at auction. In fact, certain proof versions, especially the ones with no mint mark or double die errors, have reached prices well into the $15,000 to $20,000 range, making them some of the most valuable coins from the late 20th century. The 2000 Sacagawea dollar, a historic coin with hidden value. The 2000 Sacagawea $1 coin was the first in a new series of dollar coins introduced by the U.S. Mint to honor Sacagawea, the Native American woman who guided the Lewis and Clark expedition. The coin's obverse design features an image of Sacagawea herself, with her infant son, Jean-Baptiste, in her arms, while the reverse side shows an eagle in flight. Although the coin was released to great fanfare, it didn't initially gain popularity and most were circulated without much attention. But here's the thing, certain versions of this coin, especially those with mint errors or unique characteristics, are extremely rare and have become highly valuable. What makes the 2000 Sacagawea dollar so valuable? You might be asking, what makes the 2000 Sacagawea dollar so special? Well, the key to its value lies in a few rare mint errors and certain variations that make it a must-have for collectors. Some coins from this series are fetching prices in the thousands, and in some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here's what you need to look for. The 2000 Sacagawea Cheerios dollar, one of the most sought-after and rarest versions of the 2000 Sacagawea dollar, is known as the Cheerios dollar. Here's the story. In 2000, the U.S. Mint released a small number of Sacagawea coins as part of a promotional giveaway in Cheerios cereal boxes. This limited batch was specifically minted and distributed, and only about 5,500 of these special coins are believed to exist. Today, the Cheerios Sacagawea dollar can be worth $10,000 to $50,000 or more depending on its condition and rarity. Some well-preserved examples have even sold for upwards of $100,000 at auction. Double die errors. Like many coins, the 2000 Sacagawea dollar was prone to minting mistakes. One of the most notable errors is the double die obverse, where the date or other features appear doubled due to the die being struck twice. If you're lucky enough to find a double die error on a 2000 Sacagawea dollar, you could be holding a coin worth $2,000 to $5,000, or more if it's in mint condition. These error coins are highly prized by collectors and can significantly increase the coin's value. High-grade coins, even without errors, a perfectly graded 2000 Sacagawea dollar can command a premium. Coins in MS 67 or higher condition can easily be worth several $1,000s. The better the coin's grade, the more valuable it becomes. In fact, some coins that were preserved well from the start and remain in near-perfect condition can even fetch prices up to $10,000 or more at auction. Mintage numbers and collector demand. Despite the fact that millions of these coins were minted, the lower mintage numbers of certain error or special edition coins make them much rarer. Coins that were either misplaced or have some sort of unique feature are harder to find and therefore more valuable. As demand for these limited edition and error coins increases, their prices continue to climb. Auction results, coins selling for hundreds of thousands. Let's talk about the big-ticket items. Some of the rarest 2000 Sacagawea dollars, particularly those with the Cheerios promotion or significant mint errors, have sold for upwards of $100,000. Coins with perfect grades or multiple errors can easily exceed $10,000. At prestigious coin auctions, it's not unheard of for these coins to fetch prices that far surpass expectations, and rare examples are often snatched up by serious collectors and investors. The 1976 bicentennial quarter dollar, an intriguing piece of history. The 1976 bicentennial quarter dollar was minted to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Designed by Jack L. Ahr and featuring a unique reverse design, the coin marked a major milestone in American history. It was issued in both proof and uncirculated finishes to celebrate the nation's heritage. Though it might seem like just another commemorative coin, certain varieties of the 1976 bicentennial quarter dollar have been known to fetch astronomical prices in the market. Minting and design of the 1976 bicentennial quarter. The 1976 bicentennial quarter was part of a larger set of coins, including the half-dollar and the dollar coin, each of which featured a special reverse design. For the quarter, the reverse side featured a bold rendition of the Liberty Bell, with the 13 stars representing the original 13 colonies. The obverse, of course, displayed the iconic portrait of George Washington by John Flanagan. These quarters were minted at 3 different U.S. mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. However, it's the Denver Mint, 1976 coins that we are particularly interested in, as certain specimens have become highly sought after by collectors. Rare varieties and what makes them valuable. You may be asking, what's so special about the 1976 D bicentennial quarter dollar? Well, some rare varieties can command prices in the thousands, and in some cases, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here are the top factors that can increase the value of this quarter. Double die errors. A major factor that boosts the value of this coin is the presence of a double die obverse error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin shows signs of misalignment, causing the image to be doubled. The doubled effect can be seen most clearly in the date and wording on the obverse. Coins with this error are highly prized by collectors and can easily fetch upwards of $50,000 in the right market. High-grade coins, like with any collectible, condition is everything. A 1976 D bicentennial quarter in mint condition can sell for a premium. Coins graded by the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, will have higher values, with specimens in MS 67 or higher sometimes fetching several $1,000s. When you factor in mint errors and rare varieties, a perfect specimen could easily be worth $20,000 or more. The star power of the coin's history. It's no surprise that bicentennial coins hold special value for collectors due to their historical significance. As symbols of America's freedom and independence, these coins encapsulate a pivotal moment in U.S. history. This sentimental connection, combined with the rarity of error coins or mint condition examples, contributes to the surge in prices. Market value and auction sales, the $100,000 coin. In the world of numismatics, the value of a rare 1976 D bicentennial quarter can fluctuate based on its condition, rarity, and the demand at auctions. Some high-profile auctions have seen these quarters sell for over $100,000. A double die error coin, for example, can be worth $50,000 to $100,000 or more, depending on its grade and provenance. And if you happen to come across an even rarer example or one with an additional defect, don't be surprised if it brings in multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars. The 1965 Washington Quarter, historical coin with a twist. The 1965 Washington quarter dollar is not just another coin, it's a part of U.S. history, and it was minted during a period of major transition in the American currency system. 1965 was the first year that the U.S. minted quarters without any silver content. The Coinage Act of 1965 eliminated silver from most coins, replacing it with a copper-nickel-clad composition. This was a significant moment in the history of American currency, and it set the stage for rare varieties that collectors now crave. The significance of the 1965 Washington Quarter. The 1965 Washington Quarter was the first to be struck using the new composition, marking the end of the era when quarters were made of 90% silver. The obverse design, featuring George Washington, remained the same as earlier years, but it was the changes in composition and the introduction of new mints that made these quarters so intriguing. Though the 1965 Washington Quarter wasn't issued for any special anniversary or occasion, it's the rarity and potential mint errors that have made some of them incredibly valuable. The value explosion, why some 1965 quarters are worth so much. Now let's get to the exciting part, what makes the 1965 Washington quarter dollar so valuable. It all comes down to mint errors and rare varieties that can send the value skyrocketing into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here are the top factors that make these quarters so special. The 1965 SMS, Special Mint Set, Quarter. Some 1965 quarters were struck in a Special Mint Set, SMS, that was not circulated and instead produced for collectors. These SMS coins are typically found in pristine condition and can fetch thousands of dollars. They are particularly valuable if they are graded as MS 67 or higher, which could push their value well into the $10,000 to $20,000 range. Double die errors. The double die obverse error is one of the most sought-after mistakes in coin collecting. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin shifts or misaligns, creating a double image of the date and lettering. The 1965 quarter with this error is a major prize among collectors, with some examples selling for up to $100,000 or even more if the coin is in mint condition. High-grade coins. As with all rare coins, condition is king. A high-grade 1965 quarter, meaning one with minimal wear and great preservation, can command a premium. Even a non-era coin in MS-65 or higher can easily fetch several $100s, and in some cases, thousands. Rare mint mark variations. While most 1965 quarters were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, there are a few coins with mistaken mint mark placements or unusual characteristics that add to their value. Some rare examples from the Denver Mint can sell for upwards of $5,000 to $10,000, depending on the condition. Auction sales, coins that have gone for $100,000 plus. Let's talk about the big numbers. Some of the most prized 1965 Washington quarters have fetched shocking prices at auction. Rare specimens, especially those with double die errors or high-grade SMS coins, have been known to sell for over $100,000. And when you factor in the historical significance and rarity of these coins, their value continues to soar. Collectors and investors alike are on the lookout for these valuable coins, and finding one could be a life-changing event.